really nothing more satisfying than making your own bread at home. And I make a lot of my own bread, and I do it quite frequently. But recently I discovered a wonderfully easy recipe for this dish. Today on Jay's World Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple, very low effort deli-style rye bread. It's really straightforward. It doesn't take much effort at all, and the results are out of this world. Now really, this bread takes very little effort, and it's very similar to the French boule loaf that we did a while back. We're going to start off in a quite large bowl with 3 cups of lukewarm or very hot tap water. You want to make sure that it's under 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And into that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of yeast, followed by 1.5 teaspoons of caraway seeds, and 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. And very simply, we're just going to mix that together. Dissolve some of that yeast up. Now normally with the bread we'd let this bloom, but we really don't need to. We're just going to mix this up for a few minutes and just set it aside. Now we're going to take 5.5 cups of all-purpose flour and mix that with 1 cup of rye flour. Mix the two together, and I'm just using a whisk just to incorporate the two. It really does not have to be perfect. And now back in our larger bowl, we're going to start adding in that flour and mixing it with a wooden spoon. Now you can do this, of course, in a stand mixer if you want to. It does make it a little bit quicker. But the nice thing about this, there's no kneading. It's literally just mixing. And you can confidently add all of this at once. And just using that spoon, we're just going to mix it. And quite quickly it's going to come together into a very simple, very sticky dough. Now you may find towards the end what you've got to do is you're going to have to get your hand in there and just give it a good mix with your hand. And that's it. There's no kneading, there's no other mixing required. We're just literally going to mix this together until it all comes together, and then we're going to lightly cover it, make sure it's not airtight, and leave it to rise for about 2 hours. Now my dough has been rising for about 2 hours, and as you can see, it's gone from being domed, it's actually gotten flat again, and that's exactly what we want. You can already smell it's quite yeasty, but you can smell just a hint of that caraway seed, which is great. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of flour and just dust the top like that. I'm taking a piece of parchment paper and a pizza peel and just sort of covering the two over. We're going to take out of this, I'm going to also flour my hands a little so that they work a little better. And what you want to do is you want to remove approximately a grapefruit size. Now, the cool thing about this dough is that you can actually refrigerate it for up to 14 days. Now, sometimes you may not want as large a loaf as other times, so you can actually get 4 decent sized loaves out of this. There you go. It's just a bit bigger than a grapefruit. Like that. We don't want to work this too much. We're going to simply stretch it a little like that until it becomes sort of roundish shaped and then sort of oval shaped, and place that on our parchment just like that. Now we're going to leave that to rise, and we'll leave it to rise for about 40 minutes. And while we're doing that, we're also going to prepare our oven. So rather like our boule, when we did that, we're going to put in a stone or a cast iron pan or something like that, and underneath it on a shelf below a metal bowl. Remember, not a glass bowl, because we're going to actually steam this when it goes into our oven. Once that's in place, you're going to preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and At 40 minutes, we'll pop this in the oven. So now our loaf has been rising for about 40 minutes. The oven's perfectly nice and hot at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And what we're going to do now is we're going to simply take some water and we're going to simply brush the top of our loaf like that, quite gently. Give it a nice coating of water. It's just going to help us get a nice crust on that. And we're going to take a sharp knife and we're simply going to score it across like that. Now we don't want to go too deep because we don't want to deflate that dough too much, but just give it a nice score like that. And now we're going to pop that into our 450 degree Fahrenheit oven, pour in our water to create steam. We're going to close that door right away to keep that steam in there. We're going to bake that at that 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 35 minutes until the loaf is nice and dark and gives a nice little knock on the top. Then we're going to remove it, put it onto a baking rack to cool a little and enjoy. The bread came out of the oven and I let it cool off a little bit, but the temptation to just tuck in there right away is huge. It has a very nice crust to it and the crumb is just perfect. You can smell that caraway in there. It really does smell very, very good. I'm just going to break off a little bit here, put a little bit of butter on it because why not? That crust is spectacular. It's got the right amount of chew to it. That caraway flavor is definitely there. And considering how simple those ingredients are, that is an amazing bread. It really takes no effort, a little bit of time and patience. And the nice thing is, I've got 3 more loaves sitting in the fridge. This is not going to last very long in my house, that's for sure. You have to try this. And if you did, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below how it turned out for you. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and remember to turn on notifications so that you know when my next video drops. Remember too that you can follow me on all of my social media, and those links are below in the comment section as well. Now, if you would like to try some more of my bread recipes, you can click on this playlist right here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy eating.